MLW filed an antitrust lawsuit against WWE this week, according to PW Insider. MLW's lawsuit alleges intentional interference with contract relations, intentional interference with prospective economic relations, and a violation of the Sherman Antitrust Act. The lawsuit claims WWE has maintained control of 85% of pro wrestling since buying WCW in 2001, and says WWE is maintaining its dominance through unfair and anti-competitive business practices, including poaching talent, misappropriating confidential information, interfering with competitors' contracts, and cutting off competitors' access to their viewing audiences, end quote. Before I continue reading what I'm reading here, I'm not seeing any lies yet. The lawsuit also says WWE's decline in popularity over the last 5 years is, quote, due to, among other things, inferior content, end quote, and says WWE has taken aim at MLW with, quote, unlawful predatory conduct, including airing without authority MLW wrestling footage, inducing MLW wrestlers under exclusive contracts with MLW to terminate those contracts, and encouraging MLW wrestlers to breach their contracts with MLW by disclosing MLW's confidential and proprietary business information. MLW cited 2 examples of negotiations they had with Tubi, a free streaming platform owned by Fox, and Vice TV that they claim were halted due to WWE's demands under threat of pulling their content from those platforms. The lawsuit says WWE's, quote, pattern of predatory and exclusionary conduct has hampered competition in the U.S. wrestling market by depriving MLW and other competitors of distribution channels, and its conduct has harmed consumers by depriving them of content and keeping prices high. They didn't deprive us of content, they deprived us of good content. But anyway, WWE issued a response to PW Insider that simply says, quote, WWE believes these claims have no merit and intends to vigorously defend itself against them. These claims have a shit ton of merit. Whether or not they're provable in court, they've been told in the Bruce Pritchard's podcast. Mm-hmm. They would tell venues, no other wrestling or I'm out of here. They would tell networks, no other fucking wrestling or I'm out of here. Absolutely they did this shit. They won't get in trouble for it because they buy the fucking politicians. That's how it works in America. So, well, yeah, MLW's right, but fuck all that will become of it.
As far as the politicians, probably, but we don't have facts on that. But what I would say
or just the politicians already bought so that it doesn't matter. Like, no, when was the last time an antitrust campaign fucking did anything?
I would say, though, that the MLW lawsuit is probably at, like, the worst possible time because the monopoly angle that they're trying to take is kind of
AEW, yeah.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Guys
like
got
when you're
more money now competing in the space.
Yeah.
On a network. Right. Well, that's going to be their argument. That is 100% going to be WWE's argument. Be like, what the fuck are you talking about? They're beating us in ratings?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They're taking some of our talent.
Yep.
We wanted to sign some of this talent. They left for them.
That's what they're going to say. And that, and again, if you're a judge who thinks pro wrestling is sewage and we don't really muck around with that
hate
bullshit.
Both of these companies, you're going to be like,
well, you just hate pro wrestling. Like, oh, that's what my grandchild watched when he was 6. I think it's a bad time because, again, AEW proves that they're somewhat wrong with the monopoly.
They're not going to, nothing bad will happen to WWE because of this.
But this is an open secret, and what I'm getting at is that you don't think the NFL is going to go to ESPN and say, like, oh, you're going to take the Rock's XFL shit? No, you're not.
But the only way to combat that is to have enough money behind you. AEW had to come with a guy who had more money. The Rock has to come with being a media empire as big as WWE.
Yeah. And so,
or else it's true, you get squashed and get, but that's the case with anything. This is American society. Any new chain restaurants you see opening up are probably owned by fucking McDonald's because you have to take their money and play their game or they will squash you out and not make it so you can't exist. Not just beat you, they'll make it so you're not allowed to exist in the space.